She had never seen nor studied abroad to see the world as it truly was. She could talk about the Zebra Kaiser, and how the policies of the two nations had become completely incompatible. But just like the rest of us, she was too far detached from the horrors of the war. On the day the sirens began to ring, I found her in the hallway, visibly shaken as she glanced around the corridors as everyone galloped around her. If I had not thrown her on my back, I think she would
We
not
need to
have
get
left
back to
that
Diamond
spot.
City one of these
You
days.
saved her life.
It is a doctor's duty.
So she clearly wasn't prepared for this kind of responsibility. How did she end up as your overmare?
The unfortunate result of two very different groups of ponies agreeing on something. The council only agreed to the stable project if they could have the final say on the ponies that would staff it, to preserve our culture in traditions, blah blah blah. So of course they thought that Tulip, who was literally a living encyclopedia of Düsseldorf for the past 2,000 years, should hold the highest political office. They paid no mind to choose someone with actual leadership qualities to lead the small group of ponies in a closed space environment after most of their families and friends had been consumed in magical fire. The poor girl. No amount of enthusiasm could have prepared her for the task. She reminded me a lot of the Ministry of Peacemaking. She was naive, believed too strongly in the goodness of ponies. But when she heard the sirens and seen the impacts in the distance, something snapped.
What do you mean, snapped?
Once we were inside, when the stable door was closed, Tulip just sat there in the entrance corridor, staring at it.
So much care for good neighbor.
I tried
That place
talking
is
to
nothing but trouble.
We all did. But she really didn't say much of anything after that. She would sit there all hours of the day until someone pulled her away to feed her or take her to bed.
The reality of the war was too much for some to handle. How did the others in Stable 76 react?
Things were actually okay for a while. Everyone knew about Tulip's state of mind, of course, but each of us individual section leaders were able to keep everything functioning and under control for the moment. We ran the stable as a council, just like we had in the world before. But then something much worse happened.
Teacher, do you know about how the stables are organized?
Well, I've seen the layouts for a few of them.
Well, Stable 76 was quite unique. It was outfitted with a so-called Clipper Magical Energy Generator, which stood for Crystalline Liquid Inertial Propulsion Reactor. Many stables were being outfitted with similar units, but we were told that Stable 76 was constructed around the largest one they'd ever produced. It was about 4 times larger, with 100 times the amount of fuel. The Splendid Valley facility sent enough barrels of the liquid crystal to satisfy even a Dragon King. At least, that's how the engineers described it to me. They were told that it would power us for thousands of years, and said it could have untold usefulness for rebuilding civilization in the New World.
I don't like where this is going.
We heading out?
You don't have to be as bright as me to figure that out. One day, about 3 months after Doomsday, we all heard a loud boom echo through
I
the
can patch you up
hallways.
if you need it.
We immediately
small fee,
scrambled
of
to
course.
see what was going on. That
Not
is when we
interested.
got a call
All
from
right.
our chief engineer
Excuse me.
That one of the shielding manifolds had undergone critical decompression, which is scientific speak for the top of one of the damn fuel tanks exploded.
Vibrant
I
community.
could hear the loud,
I've
fast-paced
seen
clicking on the rad counter from over the intercom. He said that one of the bugs had already died, and he was sealing off the level.
By the goddesses.
We didn't know what to do. His team was doing all they could to contain the leak. But we couldn't just sit around. We searched
Don't know
through
about
all
you,
of the
but
files
I'm
and
ready for the
procedure
next
manuals
chapter.
we could, but couldn't find anything useful that the engineers weren't already trying. Until we saw the list of the mainframe's administrative permissions. Near the bottom of the list was the communication line for Stapletech's Central Installation Command. It was the main operations center for all the stables. They were there to provide everything from technical support to a master spell matrix to emergency situation assistance.
And clearly, critical reactor failure qualified.
But the problem was, only the
A
overlayer
successful
could
mission
establish
on all
the
counts,
communications.
sir.
Why hadn't you just replaced Tulip with someone else?
We couldn't. While the system was built to transfer control in event of unforeseen death of the overlayer, that didn't include the initial login where the first overlayer, the one hardwired in by Stable-Tech, must activate the system herself. They said it had something to do with preventing sabotage or some such horseshit. So the damned apocalypse was a pretty high-risk situation. The reason that if the overlayer was dead, probably the rest of us were too. We even had to hold Tulip's hoof up to control the panel just to get the damn door to close. Unfortunately, we couldn't just do that again here, because we also needed her password.
So your only hope for help was to snap her out of her trance?
Yes, which we've already been doing. Our lead psychiatrist, Dr. Copper, had done everything known to medical science. Her obvious fixation was with what was behind that damned door. Very early on, we told her that if she came with us and logged into the computer, we could open the door to see. Which we couldn't have let her do, of course. We originally